Hello there, family.
What's up? What's up, family?
I didn't see you there.
What's going on?
And you haven't seen us for quite some time.
That's I think they was going to say. No, first of all, we
ain't
seen
seen
you. Don't talk about us.
We ain't seen
We've been looking.
you.
Where you been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, family.
Hey, guys.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to, and we'll get into it, but welcome to another episode of Midweek Moment with the Crenshaws. I am your host, Sanchez Crenshaw.
Yes, you are, baby.
And as always, I am joined by the absolute best part of my day.
What's going on, family?
The apple of my eye.
I am.
The wind beneath my wings.
I have no wind today, guys. None.
The rib that completes me.
Yes. Yes.
The squiggy
yes.
to my Lenny.
That's Laverne and Shirley, bro. Don't play with me. Don't
girl,
play.
look at you.
Well, see, I did that without hesitation.
Look at you. There was no hesitation,
I didn't even take
nothing.
a breath for nothing.
Girl, look at you.
That was my show.
So you actually did watch TV as a young adult.
Yes, I did watch that. That's only because other family members was watching it. It's like I turned it on,
Right.
but I did watch it.
I'm
Fonzie
so
and them, yes, the
I'm so
Laverne and
happy with you. Look at you, girl.
Shirley.
The fact that you actually remember.
Tomato. Oxa makes the proclamation.
See, you just making up words right there.
I don't think that's what they said.
No,
what
it's
was
not.
it?
I don't even know because I think they were making up words.
No, but I think that's what they said.
But the fact that you actually remember that
Yes.
Laverne and Shirley was actually a spinoff of Happy Days.
Yes.
Not a lot of people realize that.
Yes, it was.
Look at you,
It
girl.
was awesome. Yes, without
Go on and dap
hesitation.
me up. Go on and dap me up.
Boom,
There we
boom,
go.
boom.
But I do have a question.
Yeah. Oh, what's going on,
There you
family?
go.
What is going on, guys? I am Angela Crenshaw, guys. What is going on? I miss
That is my
you
wife, family.
guys.
Family, that is my wife.
What's up?
So, family, as you know, we thank you for listening. However you're listening,
Yes.
whether it's iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Amazon Music, whether it's iHeartRadio, whether it's Google Podcasts, whether it's on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
We thank you so much for
We
listening.
thank you guys so much. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so family, we're going to do this a little different. We're actually not going to go through the full intro.
We not.
We're not. We're just going to kind of get right into
it. Yeah.
this particular episode. Now, also, before we do that, we were doing something right before the mics came on that I just feel like doing again because
Really?
sometimes you got to.
You got
to.
This is one of the times right now in this season, you got to take it back to your grandmama.
You got to take it back to your grandmother, and you got to.
You got to just take it
Because
back.
I remember in my grandparents' home and growing up in my mother's home, just certain times throughout the day or certain times in the week, you would hear something. It was a doom, 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 doom. Doom, and then you hear that, and people of a certain age
know exactly
understand where I'm going with this, and you hear that, you hear that doom, 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 and then right behind it you will hear, "Come on in the room, come on in the room." Jesus is my doctor. He writes out all of my prescriptions. He gives me all of my medicine in my room.
Hey.
And sometimes you got to go back.
Yes.
Now, family, my wife and I will have, and this is going to be a really weird episode. There is no format to this.
There's nothing.
Just rock with it.
Yeah.
So, because we spend so much time and so many people tell us that, and it's good advice depending on what season you're in.
Yeah.
They're always saying you need to look forward. There's a reason that the windshield in your car is bigger than the rear view mirror because you should spend more time looking forward than looking back.
Or in the rear view.
In the rear view. And in a lot of cases that's true.
That is absolutely true.
But every now and again, you gotta stop and you gotta look back and you gotta remember, because what happens is sometimes we get so caught up in currently what's going on or currently what we're going through or what the current situation looks like that we forget to look back and see what God has brought us from. We forget to just stop for a moment and just take that quick glance back to see how far you've come, where God has brought you. And that's why I was sitting here right before the microphones went on, and I just started singing "Come On in the Room."
And we just started singing it together.
Yeah, because just sometimes, and I know a lot of it, we don't like looking at our past, and we think we've arrived in a certain area, but there's something about that grandmother's voice.
Oh my gosh.
There's something about that strong yet humble voice.
That power of faith.
That power of faith.
Power of faith.
I'm sorry, go ahead, baby.
That you will sleep, which our kids hated, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you hear your mama pleading the blood of Jesus and screaming and hollering and calling out disrespect and disobedience on living in her house. And so, which our kids totally hated. They hated when I used to do that.
Don't bring it in my house, dude.
Don't bring it, because I'm about to kill it.
Yeah.
I'm killing everything that's trying to come in here that's not of God. But anyway, but sometimes you just got to go back and remember from which you came, those times that you prayed and fast, those times that you just, I don't even know what just.
And you know what? And don't misunderstand. I love the new worship songs. I love, and for those who know or those who may not know, my wife and I, we are out of Elevation Church.
We're elevators.
We're elevators, and we absolutely, and no matter how you may personally feel about Elevation, we love Elevation. And we've been a part of what they're doing for the last almost 11 years. And and I love the music that's birthed out of the House of Elevation, and the scripture that's birthed out of the words.
But grandma and them.
But there's just sometimes.
My grandma and them.
There's just sometimes where that come on in the room, come on in the room. Sometimes it just hits different.
Jesus is my doctor. Woo!
He writes out all of my scriptures. He gives me all of my medicine in my room. Because sometimes it just hits different.
It does.
And family, and that's the purpose of this particular episode now.
This season, right now for us,
it's hitting different for right now.
For right now, it's hitting different for us.
There's a reason why you haven't heard from the Crenshaws, and I would say almost 2 weeks now.
In 2 weeks.
And, and there's a reason why we're coming to you now.
Yeah.
Basically, the purpose of this particular episode is more really of an update of where we currently are. And where we're going. And most importantly, where we're going.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, like I said, and I'll let my wife explain a little more from her aspect as well, but these last few weeks, they've hit different. For the Crenshaws.
Yeah, they hit different.
And I'll let you tell your truth, and then I'll kind of chime in.
Yeah. I just want to backtrack for the young folk, when the part of the song says that he brings me. First of all, he writes me my prescription, which means grandma talking about the word of God.
The word of God.
Scripture.
Yeah.
For what's ever ailing you, there's a scripture for it.
There's a scripture for it.
And then I had to learn this when I was younger because I couldn't get the concept. I was like, what? First of all, is it prescription? What scripture?
No, it's scription.
Scription.
Right.
Scription. And the second part was like, he brings me my medicine in my room. And so I had to, when I was young, I didn't get that either. But then I realized she's talking about her prayer room, her prayer time.
Yeah, closet.
So, that prayer closet, that I love so much. So I just want to say that as well. Far as it has been, for you guys who know me and has been taking this journey with me, I've had issues with both my knees. And some days I can walk and some days I can't walk. It's very painful. Some days I can barely stand. So it's been a long, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long 2 years.
Been a long 2 years.
And so recently, finally I got, shots. I'll just say not cortisone shots, but a shot.
The gel shot
that would help me, have more mobility.
And less pain.
Supposedly. Well, after waiting for that shot and getting that shot, that has not been the case for me.
Right.
It seems like the pain is worse. It seems like it's more pressure. It just, not saying that it's not working, because from what they say, it should take 4 to 6 weeks to work.
Right.
And so it's only been it's been the full 2 weeks for me, basically.
Has it been 2?
It's been, yeah.
Has it been a full 2?
Tomorrow be 2 weeks.
Okay.
Tomorrow, tomorrow be 2 weeks. So I'm believing God for that. But it was, I just, if you can just imagine every single day, what you've taken for granted, basically getting up out the bed.
Right. The little things.
Getting out the bed, going to the bathroom. And
getting out of a chair.
Getting out of a chair. My God. And that being hindered and you're not able to do that. Now, here's the thing that about me and Sanchez, I know that God's a healer. I know he will heal me. That's not even an issue. That's not even a thought. But sometimes it's just the frustration of the pain.
Sometimes it's too much.
It's just too much. And so what we decided to do is like, let's take a step back, right this minute, because just for a second, so we can gather our thoughts, because the noise, the pain of the leg was louder than God's voice to me.
Right.
It was taking over everything I do. Every conversation someone has with me, girl, how you doing? How's that leg? It was kind of like taking over my entire life. Yeah. And so we had to step back and go, this is not how this works. So we need to step back and really look at this, and we want to be able to give you the best of us. But right now we need to give us the best of us, if that makes sense. And so we really had to sit down for a few minutes for 2 weeks.
I like the fact that you said that as well, because I feel like there's a lot of family members who can relate to that. Mm-hmm. And not so much, it doesn't have to be a pain or a knee, mm-hmm. but sometimes there's situations in your life mm-hmm. that situation screams louder than the voice of God to mm-hmm. you. Mm-hmm. And you hear, because the beautiful thing about God is that God is not a screamer. Mm-hmm. God is a whisperer. Yeah. Because God wants you to lean into him. He mm-hmm. wants you to lean into his word. Yeah. He wants you mm-hmm. to make a concerted effort to hear him. Yeah. So what happens a lot of the time is that, like you said, that pain, that aggravation, that mm-hmm. frustrations, sometimes it screams so loud. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we just don't have the will to drown it out and to lean in. And I think that's where, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think and I'm going to tell my part of it as well in a moment. But I think that's where we've kind of been for the last few weeks. Yeah. It's just there's been a lot of loud. Yeah. And it was time for us to sit down and be quiet so we can really hear from the Lord. Now, here's the thing that I want to say. There's probably family out there right now that's going through so much pain, mentally, physically, or spiritually. I don't know. But every now and then you have got to shut it down, and you have got to sit down, and you have just got to listen. There's not a lot to say. If you notice too, and a lot of you probably noticed, we have not been on social media. No. We've done nothing on social media. We've done nothing behind this microphone. We just sat down and stopped and said, okay, God, you know what? Let me hear what you have to say. Lead me and guide me to the next direction of what we need to do. And so when this first started off, like this leg and oh my God, and this pain, and I got to sit down, has become a blessing, because it made me realize that there was too many voices, too much stuff going on, and I wasn't sitting down and being quiet. So what I thought was becoming a problem really became a blessing, and it made me sit down. Right. Made us sit down, to be honest. But yeah, so that's where we've been, and we'll go into the rest of it. But what did you want to say, babe? And then for my part, and I'm going to share this with the family because I'm not ashamed. Mm-hmm. And I think more people should have this particular conversation that I'm about to have. Mm-hmm. I've had this conversation with a very close circle of mine. Mm-hmm. Within these last few weeks, I made a conscious decision to go on a healing journey, mm-hmm. A healing of mental health, mm-hmm. a journey of emotional health, mm-hmm. a journey of spiritual health. Yeah. And so there's some things that I've done within these last few weeks that's honestly taken a lot out of me. I've spoken about it publicly. I've spoken about it privately, mm-hmm. as far as the actual relationships that I've had mm-hmm. With my biological parents. Mm-hmm. It hasn't always been the best, mm-hmm. And I always kind of feel bad having those conversations, because it wasn't. I didn't come from an abusive home, mm-hmm. But I just came from a home that, for the lack of a better term, as they always say, they didn't know better. Mm-hmm. And when it came to a lot of things, it was trial and error. A lot of trial and error. Mm-hmm. When it came to raising me, when it came to just life in general. Yeah. And for the longest time, I have had no relationship with my biological father, or my biological father's bloodline. It had been, I would say, close to a decade since I had spoken with them or interacted with them in any way, shape, or form. And to be honest, a lot of it had, and to be honest, when it comes to my father's biological family, it had the disconnect had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with, I did not want anything to do with my biological father.
So you added them on to
so
the
I
plate,
added them, right?
which was so unfair.
It's so unfair to them.
So unfair to them.
But because they're siblings, they act alike, they speak alike, they look alike. My uncle looks just like my father. They could be twins, which is amazing to me because they're like 8 years apart, but it's crazy.
So weird.
But I didn't want have you seen your daddy? Have you talked to your daddy? You're going to see you. I didn't want to have those conversations with them. So I just cut everyone totally off. Within the last few weeks, I have started trying to make amends with that part of my family. So I've seen a couple of my aunts. I still have a lot more family that I have to reach out to and that I have to speak with. I've spoken with my father. I actually went to see him a couple of times, and we don't speak daily, but I try to contact him a few times a week to start that process. And I did something that I never thought I'd be able to do. And I sat down with my father and I had a conversation with him, not about me, not about our relationship, not about what happened, not about not having him try to justify or explain why he wasn't around. But I had a conversation with him to know him, to learn him. I didn't want to learn Bobby Lee Crenshaw as the father of Sanchez Crenshaw. I wanted to learn Bobby Lee Crenshaw as the man Bobby Lee Crenshaw. So we sat down and we had an amazing conversation. I asked him, and he was very open, which I was surprised about initially, but he was very open to it. And so we had conversations about his childhood, about what his likes, his dislikes, what he wanted to do when he was growing up, and how did he see his life. And just really having conversations, learning him.
Man to man, yeah.
Which it made me, understanding his past and understanding how he grew up and understanding his perspective gave me a better perspective on why he made a lot of the choices he made. And which made me understand that a lot of the choices that he made had nothing to do with me. Had nothing to do with me.
So good.
And then with that, also, I started therapy. A couple of weeks ago as well. In my second session. I'm going into my third session next week. And so I've started that process of actually, because in a lot of ways there's some things about me that are I'm not going to say broken, but I'm going to say they're unbalanced. There's a lot of my therapist loves using the word, and I kind of agree with her. There's a lot of trauma. A lot of childhood trauma.
It is.
That I've experienced that I never fully dealt with. Because all my life I've been the strap up your bootstrap and just move on.
You went into triage, but then you didn't go back to the back and talk to the physician.
I did not. I got my Band-Aid and I'm rolled on.
As soon as they turned their back,
I was gone. But understanding it was a 9-inch gash in my arm. A Band-Aid is not going to help that.
Exactly.
But I said throw a Band-Aid on and we moved on. And so I started the process of, like I said, of a healing journey, which has taken a lot out of me because, and I'm going to be honest about a lot of things. I realized that I'm realizing that I don't handle situations well. I don't handle, let me rephrase that. I have an issue with personal situations. Anyone comes to me with a problem, I can help. You come to me with a situation you're going through, I can help. You come to me with something that I'm going through, it doesn't go well. So I'm learning that I don't handle, which in turn, if I'm honest, I end up treating the people around me poorly. And I end up treating the closest people to me badly. And I've had some situations, and my wife and I have had some conversations in these last 3 weeks where she's had to pull my card on more than one occasion because of how I'm interacting with her. And so that's why I say these last 3 weeks have hit different for the Crenshaws.
Absolutely.
Because it made us honestly sit back for a moment and examine, are we as authentic as we say? Are we hypocrites? We're good for getting on this microphone and talking about having the hard, ugly conversations. the uncomfortable conversations, but have we been doing it? Have we been having those hard, ugly conversations?
And the crazy part about it is when we ask ourselves that question, we like, yeah, because we really, we just be like, this ain't working. Yeah. I mean, we just had a ugly conversation in the kitchen over making jambalaya. It was like, are we depressed?
I had to come to my wife.
Like,
I was
are we depressed?
Babe, let me ask you a question for a second. I was like, babe, are we collectively depressed?
Like, what is going on?
And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, babe, just stop for a second. I said, look at this. I said, you and I, we barely leave the house unless we absolutely have to.
Right.
We don't go outside. I said, we sit up in a dark house.
Yeah, which we love, actually.
Which we love our home, but it's dark. Because my wonderful wife is working from home. We both work from home right now. Her office is our bedroom. It used to be that, it was bright in there. She would open the blinds. She'd open the curtains. The sun was, and now she just crack a curtain.
One curtain, y'all. It's good. It's good, y'all.
And open like a half a blind. So you don't know if it's 8:00 in the morning or 8:00 at night.
Yeah, because we have blackout curtains.
Yeah, we have blackout curtains that we don't open anymore.
Theater blackout curtains, y'all.
So I had to ask. I was like, yo, man, it's like, and we're really not talking. It's like, you don't really want to deal with me. I don't really want to deal with you. So I'm like, yo, babe, are we depressed? Like, what is going on?
No, but here's the thing. I think that people, what I understood when we finished talking is that sometimes, because nothing is going on doesn't mean something is going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing for us means that we're both right now are trying to heal individually and corporately of what we're going through. And sometimes it don't have to be a whole bunch of hoopla. And I think because we're so busy, always being busy, that the moment that we actually stop, because we never had that conversation, but it was just these last 2 weeks. Yeah. But when we actually have to stop, we think something's wrong. You depressed, you sad, you mad, yeah. But it's none of that. It's right now where we are sitting.
And which is hard for us. Because one thing we talked about as well is that the Crenshaws are always in a perpetual state of rush.
Yeah, we always doing something.
We're always rushed.
Even if we don't have to.
Even if we don't have to be. No,
we got that New York state of mind in Charlotte.
We're always in a very quick pace. And it's like no matter what we're doing, like I'm doing the dishes and I'm rushing to do the dishes and I'm trying to figure out, am I on a time frame?
Am I about to be beat?
Is there a clock that no one told me about? Am I in a competition and no one told me?
Are you the best dishwasher ever? Like what is it?
Why am I rushing through the dishes? Why do I? And then I wonder why mentally, physically, emotionally,
your mind is running.
I stay tired so much.
Because your mind is running.
Because not only is my mind running, but I'm running.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what the world? How did we get here?
So for this time for us to be quiet has been strange. So we thinking, are we not having real conversations? Are we depressed? And it's none of that. Yeah. We are having the hardcore conversations. Some of them are a little bit hardcore than they need to be, but they hardcore.
Like the other night, my wife got mad at me. She stopped talking to me for 2 days.
It's like,
so we just gonna be honest out in these streets,
it's
family.
Just like, bruh, you just.
So family, here's what happened. So I think I've expressed this before on the airways on Al Gore's internet. It's some couple of medical conditions I have. Well, one of them is sleep apnea, and I know this, but it fluctuates my weight, and when my weight drops and I'm healthier as far as exercising more, it doesn't affect me as much.
Exactly.
And so, but when my weight goes up, it starts to run its course.
It rolls up on you.
It rolls up on me. So I'm having bouts of sleep apnea now. I have the machine. I have the Darth Vader mask and the CPAP machine.
It's next to the bed,
it's directly next to my bed. It's always there.
Hand mask.
But I hate it.
Clear water. Get some bottles of water.
I hate it. I hate the mask. I hate the machine. I hate it all. So the other night, I assumed that maybe I was having some issues in my sleep.
No, you were having. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you. He was having some issues. It keeps me awake because something like that, if he stops breathing, like he can, and you don't catch it, he can literally pass away. And I keep telling him, this family don't work or function without him. Yeah. But he don't hear me though.
So.
No, I'm not finished, bro.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
So the other night, it's happening. So what I do when I feel like it's happening or I think it's happening, I'll shake. I'll like move the bed and it'll catch him up or whatever the case is, right? Because I'm trying to figure out ways to do this. So, but he was doing it more than usual the other night. So I didn't care. I woke his behind up and I was like, get up and put on the mask. But I said, it's sweet. I said, babe, I never scare him. I rub his arm or whatever, because if I shake him too much, he think I'm trying to get out the bed. He'll grab me. Like he think I'm hurting or something. And so I said, babe, first I gave him the good Angela. I said, baby, you're gargling a lot. Lift your head up higher, because they say lift your head up higher and lay on your side. Okay, that's what he said he was going to do. He a bit more do that. That was the first time. I touched him again. I said, babe, get up and put the mask on, babe, because right now you're gargling a lot. I need you to put the mask on. Because I don't ask him to put the mask on. He does that on his own. But if I feel like there's an issue, so he said sure. So he rolled over and this joker went back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I said, Amazon, turn on bedroom lights full force. And so thinking, which is funny because I did it and Amazon just turned the lights on again. But so he was so the lights came on and he's just looking around. And by this time I said, baby, put your mask on. Y'all, that was it. You tell them your part.
Now, family, understand that it wasn't 9 o'clock at night. It wasn't 10 o'clock at night. It wasn't 11. This was like 2:22 in the morning.
I don't care.
And she's like, so I got up.
Breathing don't have a time frame, baby.
I get that, but it's 2:22 in the morning. I don't sleep well to begin with. I stay up most of the night anyway. So I had finally found a piece of sleep.
I wasn't asleep, and your piece was not good.
Well, to me, I had finally found a piece of sleep. And she tells me, and she forces me to get up. So I, like a rational 43-year-old adult, married 22 years, father of 4, grandfather of 1. I'm a professional. I volunteer within my church. I'm a strong pillar of my community.
Oh, you trying to build this up for yourself?
I'm a strong pillar of my community.
But you tell people how you really act?
Yeah, I had a whole tantrum.
Guys?
I had a whole temper tantrum like my 18-month-old grandson Pooh. And I threw the covers off me.
Yes.
I threw myself out of the bed. I think I hurt my back doing that. And I flung open the closet. I grabbed my equipment. I threw it on the bed. And I'm throwing stuff around, and my wife
stormed into the kitchen
to fill up the little reservoir of water.
Slammed the cabinet.
Slammed 2 o'clock in the morning.
Water,
slamming the cabinet.
Slammed the refrigerator.
Slammed that too. Mm-hmm. And then came back in the room. My wife is lovingly trying to talk to me, and I say in my what I feel is a polite way. I'm like, babe, please leave me alone. And then she stops for a second. And then she starts, talking to me again. By this time, it's 2:30 a.m. And I'm thinking, I say politely, Angela, please leave me alone. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently she didn't like those particular words that I had used because Angela not only left me alone for that night, Angela left me alone for 3 days.
It was 2 days.
It felt like 3.
It was 2 days since he wanted to be left alone, because here's the thing. I'm going to do what's best. I'm going to fight whoever I got to fight and deal with whoever I got to deal with what's best. So if that means I have to fight you for you, if I have to fight Sanchez for Sanchez to live, I'm going to fight him. I do not care what time of morning it is. What he will not do is pass away on my watch. No, he will not do it for something that he can help. So then after he says it, I looked at him. I ain't say another word.
No, she said
he got in his little he got in his little bed, and it was 2 days. Thank you, 2 days.
Like 3.
But see, I did what I was supposed to do. I cooked for you. I gave you your food. I made sure your clothes was done. I made sure everything that you need to do around this house.
I didn't trust the food, but I ate it because I didn't know what you was trying to do.
That I needed to do, that I would normally do, no matter what's going on, I did not stop doing any of that. But what I did do was when you spoke to me, I said something to you. But other than that, I didn't have nothing to say.
Yeah, but you was real short with me.
You said leave you alone. So I'm giving you your leave alone spirit.
I was talking about in that moment though. And once again, in my mind, family, I'm saying it nicely.
No, he wasn't.
I'm being really polite and nice about it.
He didn't.
Because what I wanted to say God has taken those words from me because
He
about
said, what,
tucking them because about a month ago I had made a request and a plea to the Lord to please remove these words from my vocabulary because I realized that I was an old school cussing Christian, and so I'm like, God, just remove these words. And
you only had 2 curse words you used, which was still a hot mess.
And
You still was cussing,
and I loved them. Those were my favorite words. They fit in any situation.
They did not fit.
They fit in any situation.
DAM don't fit in every situation.
In every situation,
it does not. But go ahead.
But anyway, but I wanted to bring those words and a couple of and they cousins to the conversation at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. But I did not. I reserved myself and I was polite.
You wasn't.
But my wife felt like I wasn't.
If guys, again, he just told you he had a full blown slamming, bamming thing, temper tantrum. So you know that when he said, "Babe, please leave me alone,"
but I caught myself though.
It wasn't like nicely, and I told him,
I reeled myself.
He's like, "No, baby, I said it nice. You might have intended to say it nice, but it didn't feel nice." So I did what I did. I said, "You know what?" Because I too. Again, if anyone's been listening to us long enough, know that we are aggressive people.
You more so than me.
So in order for the rest of the days to go completely correct, it was best for me to be quiet, I'm quiet. Do my job, do my work, do my courses, my classes, make sure that my husband ate and that he didn't need anything, and keep my mouth to myself until I was ready.
Yeah.
And able to tell him how I felt without being colorful. I like the way I say it.
Yeah.
Without being colorful.
Crazy part, you cuss more than I do now.
I don't.
You're a cussing Christian.
I'm not a cussing Christian. To be more colorful. So that's where the Crenshaws have been.
That's where we've been.
That's where we've been.
So that's why we say for these last few weeks, life is kind of hit different. And come on. In the room,
Jesus. Come on in the room.
Come on.
In the room, Jesus.
Jesus is my doctor.
Yes.
He writes out all my prescriptions.
Yes.
He gives me all my medicine in my room. That's why for the Crenshaws, that's hit a little different.
It's hit a little different.
And one other thing I want to touch on before we wrap this up, just an announcement that we want to make to the family.
Yeah.
This is not the end of Crenshaw Corner.
Right.
However, this is actually the end. This will be the last midweek moment episode that you hear from us.
Until February.
Until February?
Until February.
So moving forward, we're only going to release one episode a week.
And that's on Friday.
It'll be the full Crenshaw Corner episode on Fridays. So we will release those. So you will have those. But moving forward, like I said, until in the end of February, at that time we'll re-examine.
Yeah.
Bring in midweek moment back.
Yeah.
But as of now, and just to kind of let you in on a little secret, family, it's more so because what we don't want to do, it's give you half behind stuff.
Right.
We don't want to give you lower quality.
Yeah.
That's not what you're used to when it comes to the Crenshaws.
And we're not going to start now.
We're not going to start now.
Yeah. But this is the holiday season and everything is so busy.
Right.
And we're so busy. And so we don't want to just put something out there just to be putting
just
something
to put it
out there.
Yeah.
That is not what we do. So we had to make a decision together to say, you know what? One episode Friday. We will go back on social media. We will do some fun stuff on YouTube or whatever the case is. But we definitely said we would do on Friday one episode until February. Yeah.
All right, babe. We kind of went a little bit everywhere.
No, I think that this was us telling our truth, being honest, what we're going through.
Final essay for the family?
No, I don't have a final essay. We miss you guys. We love you guys. We thank you so much for being there for us, for listening to us, being a part of our family. Like I said, we're not going anywhere. We're just changing the dynamic for a little while. And then we also need to understand, and we're going to talk about this on Friday, but what has happened to us, and which probably happened to a lot of people, is we became time poor. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more on Friday about being time poor. And I think that's what has happened to us. So we need to collect our thoughts, get ourselves back together, sit down, hanker down on what else we want to do with Crenshaw Corner, what else we want to do in our marriage, what else we want to do in our life, and then do that. But right now we can't let the world be much louder than what God is telling us to do right now.
Right.
And so that's what we're doing right now. We're in a spirit of listening.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, family, the only thing I'm going to say is that for for the family that need this right now. Do not be afraid to say you're not okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to need help.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to talk to someone. If you find yourself in that position where you're putting on a facade, where you're putting on a mask,
like you're okay,
where you're living up to the expectation because you're supposed to be the one that's okay, because you're that person,
because you're the person,
and you're the person that no one calls to check in on you because they already assume
that you're okay,
that every phone call from them, it's because they need and they need. So for that person, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to seek help. It's okay to talk to someone. It's okay to talk to a trusted advisor. It's okay to talk to a trusted mentor.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay to be quiet.
It's okay to be
shut
quiet.
It down sometimes.
It's okay to not answer the phone.
Yeah.
If they don't get you, if they're not able to find you, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they will.
They will figure it out. The reason they don't have to is because they know you're always going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
So if you just turn off your phone and send them a voicemail, life is not going to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
Family.
And I'll say this too.
Talk to me,
Don't
baby.
let your life be louder than God's voice.
Right.
Don't. If you see that your life is getting so loud, what I would say to you is go in, as Grandma said, go in your closet, go in your closet in your room and sit down and give yourself a moment to, even if it's, some people going to say, I don't have that kind of time. You got 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, make the time.
To just sit, make the time for yourself.
You make time for what's important.
Yeah.
And family,
you are important.
Yeah, like family, like I said, because this is a different episode. We're actually going to end this episode the same way we began it.
Yeah.
Doom, 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 doom. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Jesus is my doctor. He writes out all of my scriptures. He gives me all of my medicine in my room. Family, we love you.
We love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Welcome to our journey.